Okay, so first thing I'll do is I'll just right click and do my inspect again. And then just to reiterate, you can control exactly how you want to see the page here. I'm like super zoomed, so I'll zoom out a little bit. And you want to make sure that you're viewing the page as large as you can because you want to get the images and you want to have a nice canvas to work on. If you don't like this position where it is, you could just hit the custom tools, the dev tools here, and you can change how it docks. I like to work with the one that you can kind of like move around, just personally. If you want to work with it so it goes on the bottom or the side, you can also do that. So however you want to work with it is totally fine by me. Okay. Does that make sense, everyone? Any questions on that part? How to just control that? Okay, great. So the first thing that we'll do is let's go ahead and let's just you know what we're going to do first, because we didn't do it last time, we're going to work with the background, okay? So we're going to add in some background images and maybe some background colors, okay? So the first thing that we'll do is I'm just going to target the general body, okay? So as you can see here, I'm on the body tag. And everything, so this looks like our workshop, right? Or like the worksheet that we're working with later. Everything for your web page is inside the body tag. Okay, that's why I can't see anything, because it's all inside the body tag. So just go ahead and make sure that you're clicked on the body tag. And then we're going to use this element style tag here. Okay? So the first thing that I'll do is I'm going to put a background color. So background color, and I'll just say red for now, okay? And that's going to change the color of your entire web page. Okay, some other options that we have there. Let's try a gradient, okay? So we're going to work with background images. You can use background image to link in images, and you can also use it for a gradient, okay? So I'm going to do this background image linear gradient. You are welcome to use this worksheet to copy and paste anything that you would like, okay? So I'll do background image. So instead of color, I'm going to do background image. I'm just going to toggle that one off. So background image. And I will do linear. I'm just going to copy this. Linear gradient here. All right, and so I should have a gradient. Ooh, look at that, y'all. Some sunset vibes here. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm working with colors and shadows. So if you go where it says gradients, you can actually, so the property is background image, not background color. You would think it would be background color, but it's background image. And then we're going to work with linear gradient, okay? And you can put as many colors as you would like in there. So I'll switch back here, show you all this. So right now I just have red, yellow. You can add another color, green, blue. Okay, so you can make the gradient like as specific as you'd like. And you can get really, really detailed with this. So for instance, if you want to change it, it's going to go from the top to the bottom. You could put, just like the example says, in the parameter, you could put to right, comma, and it'll change it so that it's a horizontal gradient, not a vertical gradient. Okay? Yeah, so we have a couple of different linear gradients, right? So we have just a regular linear gradient. There's so much more you could do with this. This is just an intro. If you just want a two-color gradient, you just separate them by commas. So you could put as many colors as you'd like. You just separate them by commas. Linear gradient, if you use to right, comma, and then your colors, you can also do to left. That'll just change it from a vertical to a horizontal gradient. So I have the horizontal gradient right now. That's because I've used this little keyword to right here. Okay? And then if you want to do a radial gradient, you would just switch out that linear gradient. You'll switch that out to a radial gradient. You wouldn't want to use to right. And it'll make it, look how cute, make it a radial gradient. Okay, so there's linear dash gradient and radial gradient. Okay, so, and you can do this on any of your backgrounds. So for instance, if I want to grab something else, I'll inspect this. And let's say I want to put the same background here. I can also do, I'll just copy and paste here for brevity. Okay, you can put gradients here as well. Okay, so I just grabbed another element and I put a gradient on it. Okay, so if I want to move this box around here, okay, so this box that I just put a background gradient on, if I want to move it around, here are some options. All right, so the first thing, let's mess with its width and its height. Okay, so I'm just going to say width. And I'm going to use the measurement VW. Alex, you have a question? Are you doing okay? You good? Okay. I'm going to use the measurement VW. That stands for viewport units. It's a scalable measurement. And I'm going to say about 10 VW. Okay? So that's my width. And I'm just toggling in the value section to make it bigger. And then I'll say height. And maybe I'll say, I don't know, 50 VW. Okay? Maybe a little smaller. That'll make it bigger. Okay? And then I know a number of you had some questions about how to move something around really specifically, right? So the way that we can do that is we can use something, you kind of need this little special code called position. And we're going to say it's positioned absolutely. Position absolute allows you to kind of like break how things are normally positioned. And then, and this is all on your worksheet, so underneath move stuff, this is on here. These three are highlighted because they work together. You need position absolute to work with top and left. Although you might, sometimes you can get it to work separate, but we're not gonna fuck with that. Okay, so I'm gonna do top, and I'll just say like 0 from the top, and then I'll say left. And maybe say 0 from the left. Maybe. Okay, so you might have to do negatives just because of how this is arranged, okay? So the best way to do this is to just put a unit in like top or left. So I'm just gonna put like 2, and you need a unit of measurement after it. So I would say use PX or VW. PX is pixels, VW is viewport units. VW will just move around faster and make your life a little easier. Like, check it out. If you do pixels, PX, it just moves like really slow, okay? If you do VW, they're larger units, so it'll move around a lot faster, okay? So I would say like just put a unit in here and then just use your arrow keys to kind of toggle the top and the left. You can also use bottom and right too, similarly in here. That'll help you move stuff around exactly where you want it to go. Okay, what can I do if I want to round out the corners of this box? I can do something, again, this is on your worksheet. This is underneath borders. Okay, so now we'll work with some borders. I want to make this rounded and I want to give it a border. So the property that I can do for that is called border radius. Border dash radius. And again, you can copy and paste this from the sheet. And I'm just going to give it maybe 10 VW. And check it out. Now I have this like cute little roundy friend here. Okay, and then let's give it a border. And so border works with, I'm going to put some notes in here, okay, comments. It's going to be like the thickness, what type of border, and then the color, okay? So the thickness here, the type, and then the color. And there is a link. Oops, where did I put that? Well, there was a link. You can look up all these things on W3 Schools. We'll look that up in just a second, and I'll link it. But before I do that, I'll show you how you can do this. So we're going to do just a border. And I'll say I want it to be 5 pixels thick. I want it to be dotted. And I want it to be pink. And maybe I want it to be a little thicker. Look how cute, y'all. Okay, and so I'll bring this back up, but before I do that, I do want to show you where you can find all this information. And again, just to reiterate, I'm throwing a ton of stuff at you right now. I do not expect you to memorize this. I do not expect it to all make sense. This is just an intro level project. I'm just showing you what you can do, and we're going to cover all this stuff in depth. But the more exposure you get to all these properties and values, the easier it is to just work with them as we continue going. Okay, so I'm just going to look up CSS border, and the first thing that's going to come up is W3 schools right here. Okay, and so any of the stuff that's on that worksheet, here's information about the margins, all right? So you can actually just kind of copy and paste things from here. Here's all the different styles of borders I can use, okay? Here's what they look like. So I'll link this, and for instance, like, you know, here's CSS text formatting. You can find a bunch of information here, and you can copy and paste whatever you would need. So I'll put this link in your worksheet so that you have it. Okay, but that's where you can find all this information. All right, I'm going to slow down and stop the recording for now and see